It's a September garden tour in my Chicagoland garden. It has been a back and forth odd year, and let's see what's happening. Join me. So this is my garden in mid-September. It's winding down, making me sad, but there's still a lot going on. So the fennel is growing on very nicely. This is the one planted just after the summer solstice, and I've not gotten it thinned. That was an intent and never got to it, but I think I will do that today and make something out of the thinning. These Anaheims, thank goodness, are finally starting to turn red. So hopefully all of these beautiful fruits all over these two big plants are going to finally do their thing for me. The calemas have wound down. I probably could just pull them out, but I get one here and there, and one is yum. This is the third succession of carrots, and it's coming along nicely. The Dr. Veggie, what a powerhouse. That is one plant. And look at, I am not kidding you when I say there are going to have been 60 or 70 fruits off of this one plant. And it is top tier for us. It's number one or number two when we both give it a rating. Now, this is my bad, apparently. I had planted a succession of bush beans, and it is clearly some kind of pole bean. I have cut the top off in hopes that it might put out some side shoots and start flowering in desperation and give me a little bit of something. And those are mustard greens left over from where I saved seed. They just planted themselves there. And this is the top-notch wax bean, which is our fave. And we're getting a lot of flowering action now with this return of the heat after that cold spell. There we go, see? Al did a pretty good pick on these about 4 days ago, so we're waiting again. There's the Ford Hook Swiss chard. That's our favorite, best tasting chard. It goes from May until frost. And these are Mr. Tartar's German, and we have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I can see. That's a really good sized tomato. They come in always over a pound a piece. And these are peas. It's always a bit of a crapshoot whether I'm going to get peas, but I always get pea shoots for salads or stir fries, if nothing else, so it's worth doing them. There's the back side of the Mr. Tartars. As you can see, they are big tomatoes, big tomatoes. And next to that is the Cuban salami. Now this is the one that I just felt like was strong tasting, very savory, very mwah. There's the back side of the Cuban salami, and the other side of that Dr. Veggie. This is a little patch of both Genovese and lemon drop. It's all but done at this point. And some more radish that I tucked in. Now looking at the center bed. This is where we did the biofumigation, if you remember, to get rid of the root knot nematodes. That's why there are so many marigolds in there this year. Hopefully we have chased them away with the caliente mustard treatment and then this marigold, and then putting that seafood based fertilizer in that has the Chilton, which helps rid of the root knot nematodes. There's my last minute butternut. We've harvested 2, and I have another one over here, so that'll give me 2 more butternuts. We do love our butternuts, so glad to get something. Obviously, they're both caged from the squirrels because they just love them. In the back bed, you can see in the distance my burning bush is beginning to start its fire process. And I just love how this turned out here in the front of this bed. I've got the purple salvia and that envy zinnia. The bees are loving it right now. The snapdragons, and there's some marigolds in there as well. And then around the front here there are 3 colors of zinnia, but it seems like the white one is dominating the pink and the yellow. Behind that is the one yin yang bean that my friend gave me up in Wisconsin. And so I am just growing it out to save the seeds from it. Harvested some of those beets yesterday, and I've got more back there as well. There's some leeks in there with some volunteer marigold, and this is radish and Mercurian leeks. We've got this open right now because there was a chipmunk in there who couldn't get itself out after it got itself in. This is my fall planting of cilantro and some more radish. Here is spinach. It's struggling now that we've heated back up. You know, it really likes the cool. This is the dragon tongue beans. Now, I would strongly suggest growing these. It is a great bean, and it tastes like a green bean, but it has cool colors and a cool name. These are so interesting. That's one Mercurian that I didn't move because it was just a baby when I moved all the others. And the American flag leek. I winter sowed that patch of American flag leeks, and it has not done a thing to make much leeks the whole season, and I don't know why in that spot. Oh well, win some, lose some. There's the last of the celery now, and some flowers. This is the Amish sherbet, which was great. Oh, I pulled out some rotten stuff, and I need to get that cleaned up. And there is the last of those precious, yummy, Lucid Gem tomatoes. The trio of cherry tomatoes, mango apricot, chocolate cherry, and pink champagne. We're going to do them all over again because we love them, but the flavor of this chocolate cherry is out of this world delicious. It's bigger than shown on the package though, so don't know, but love it. Here's Tim's Taste of Paradise. It has been very splitty this year for us, so I think we're going to give it a pass for next year so that we can try maybe something else, or we're definitely cutting down. This is the Principe Borghese, and it was supposed to be a semi-determinate, but it has cranked out just like an indeterminate. And we still have not tasted this one. This is Summer of Love. Every single tomato has split and rotted. So we have not got a taste, but there's still 3 more on there, 4 more, so we may. This is the Castelluto Genovese, which is gorgeous for sauces and salsa. But I'll tell ya, last year it was the early producer and just kept kicking them out. This year it's the late producer, which is fine. We've had plenty. There's my celeriac. The roots are not as big as last year. So we'll see if it does some late season growing. I am going to fertilize it today. And there is the Cherokee Carbon, another outstanding producer. I would strongly recommend it. It does have the flavor of the Cherokee Purple Heirloom that we love, and it has the resistance to the baddies and strength of the carbon. I'm going to be harvesting quite a bit of this today. This is the lemon verbena. I have absolutely adored it in tea. I used it with stevia or stevia and lemon drop basil, but it is delicious and I want to get it preserved. Here's the back side of that Cherokee Carbon so you can see how many more fruit are on there. I mean, in total, I think Al and I figured it's gonna come in at around 80 fruits that we got out of this one plant. Now obviously I let lots of leaders go, and most of the time I leave a lot of foliage, but as we're winding down, I have been winding the foliage down because I don't want it to put its efforts into making me more at this point. We're looking at the birdie's bed section from the back of the back stone bed, which is not an angle I usually do. And you can see that we have now harvested out all of the cushaw squash and taken away the trellises that we had to hold them up out. I have 3 beautiful ones and 1 for seed. This is the Heinz, which is supposed to be also a determinate tomato, but for me it has acted more like an indeterminate. And I still have fruits on this, and I am very glad about that because it has given me delicious tomatoes, thank you Danny, to make both ketchup and barbecue sauce. Wow, if you've never made barbecue sauce, I encourage you to do it because wow. And the borlados are completely out of the middle of this trellis, but the Vortex and the Kentucky Wonder pole beans are still just kicking it out, enough to feed both Al and I every few days. And radishes, of course, I tuck radishes in this time of year wherever I can. So now I'm just letting this bed where the cushaw was make me seed from those beautiful marigolds, and I am going to try to save basil seed in multiple places this year. I've never done that. Has anybody done that before? Give me some tips. This is the back of the pepper bed. So on this end there are 3 jalapeno peppers, and I need to pick. Beautiful corking on there, look at that, wow. And what I've been doing is I have just been harvesting and putting them in the freezer. This is the Hungarian Magyar paprika. Danny says it has a smoky flavor all in itself without being smoked. So far I have just been harvesting these when they get to this stage and tossing them in the freezer. Behind that is the one Allie sent me, which is the patchwork. And I have to tell you, at the brown stage or the red stage, it is an amazingly sweet pepper. These are at kind of the purple stage after green right now, so I will let those either go to brown or red before harvesting. Next to that, this is 2 Joe's Long Cayenne peppers. I don't know if there's any red ones on there or not. Oh yeah, way down under there are. I'll get those today as well. Again, I've been throwing them in the freezer, waiting to get enough to just dehydrate a batch, and I'll make some cayenne pepper for us. Now that one is the Corona de Toro, and I see I've got one here and one back in there. Oh, and one up here as well. Whew, it's gonna be an awesome harvest day. And then the two on the end are the Jimmy Nardello. And these are champions. Get yourself some seeds for those. Either the Corona de Toro or the Jimmy Nardello, so that you always have some sweet pepper going. In front of the peppers is Santiam Sunrise and my herbs, which I need to deal with. The stevia over there on the end. And then the other tomato is the Copper River. Here in this front bed is the dwarf Purple Heart, or Purple Heart Dwarf. And it has been also an amazing producer. That one's kind of split, but that's okay. Most of them are just slightly larger than this before they turn, and they do have that heart shape. They are delicious. Cut these way back hard, just leaving a few blooms, and I have an amazing flush for my fall, but all of these are going to be left to make me seed. There's that Purple Heart from the other side, and here's those last Copper Rivers. The stevia, gonna get that dried today along with the lemon verbena. As you can see, the pepper bed. And the Anesse Noix was finished, but this is the Alice's Dream. Now, I've had several people tell me that this is in fact what their Alice's Dream looks like, although a lot of people show the Alice's Dream as looking more like the Lucid Gem. It's a great tomato, that's for sure. Some more Swiss chard, but it seems to keep getting attacked over here. So you can see it's been eaten away, so I'm just leaving it as a sacrifice. I was gonna pull the Socrates cucumbers out, but there's no need to, because even though this thing looks tragic, it keeps putting out more and more cucumbers. So, you know, don't give up on things sometimes just because they start looking a little bit gnarly. They still give you food in the end. This is mint and lemon balm and just some flowers. And then the little brassica cage, although I did have a breach, so I need to go in and check for caterpillars today. But I had those hydroponic lettuces from the grocery store because I couldn't get lettuce to grow in the summer. And when we got down to the little couple of leaves left with the root ball that was still attached, I put them in. And that's how I got my starts, because there's nowhere around here that does fall starts. So that was a great lesson to learn. Yeehaw. And these flowers are now all almost past. They're still giving me some color. And I am just letting them totally go to seed at this point, because that's what we do. There's one of my many watering stations I've had this year, and it really seemed to help keep the squirrels from taking stuff that they don't really love. This came out of a multi-pack of wildflowers. Not exactly sure what it is, but ooh la 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 la. It is pretty. We'll be taking the berry cage off this week. whatever is left can go to the animals. We'll probably do one more pick because, you know, there is good fruit on there. And then just let the birds have the rest. Back there, I've got Kennebec potatoes, and that is the Clancy potatoes that did from seed. Sorry about my shadow. Rhubarb's hung in there. I let that mint go to seed and the chives. And the inside there are the honeyberries to the far right, and 3 blueberries and some strawberries. This was my last ditch effort to get extra potatoes, so I don't even know if we'll get any fruition on that, but we will leave that till the last moment. And these are the spuds for the single seed potato challenge. Sir Speedy on the left, original, and Sir Speedy's offspring that I cloned on the right. Gooseberries are in here, but I've also had some blackberries come on over, and we've just decided that we're going to leave it. On the other bed, the currants are doing just fine, and that Montauk daisy will fire up here shortly and give us some late color. Across the yard there is the sweet autumn clematis. It camouflages my compost bin behind it. Let me get close. As soon as the sun hits this, in a couple of hours, I won't even be able to literally come over here because this is a hubbub of bee activity. But she's a beauty. Just a beauty. And there's today's garden gifts. I took just 3 of the fennel because that's all we can use right now. Santium sunrise, the green beans, variety of tomatoes, and then 2 of those very precious chocolate cherries that we are liking so very much. More beans and peppers and tomatoes and peppers and peppers and peppers, and ooh, look at the size of those Mr. Tartar German. I got a couple of very funky looking carrots, and then the Cuban salami. But that is quite a harvest. Keep me busy in the kitchen. Well, I also have a nice pixie cabbage, and that cabbage I thought I might be able to save, but it is just loaded with little bitty worms. Up front is that last cushaw that we harvested, and the 2 others. These are all around 10 pounds, and then I've got the one outside that we left for the animals and will become seed. I'm a sweaty mess. It keeps rolling into my eyes, so I am going to end this one, and I am so grateful that you joined me today, and I hope you want to come back again. Remember, sometimes the only thing we harvest is knowledge, and that's okay. Bye for now, and we'll see you on the next one.